astounding $100 million opening weekend of Bad Boys Ride or Die, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, has utterly decimated Hollywood's bag of excuses for failure after failure in recent years. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Hollywood wants you to believe that people don't want to go to the movie theaters anymore. They want you to believe that people are burnt out on blockbusters, or that the theaters are just too darn expensive. Well, they are, but that's besides the point. This past weekend, Hollywood's horrific Memorial Day weekend box office numbers were blown out of the water by Bad Boys, proving once and for all what fans want to see, and perhaps more importantly, what fans don't want to see. Bad Boys Ride or Die speeds to $105 million global opening. All right, folks, this is big. This is really big because Hollywood has been bleeding money of late. $100 million opening weekend has not been happening very much lately. Now, a few years ago, we would have been talking about this movie like it was a failure. It made $20 million less than Bad Boys 3, and it's the 5th biggest opening weekend of the year. But in the year of 2024... oh boy, this is a celebration worthy of partying with the Ewoks and playing the Yub Nub song. Movies that have drawn better opening weekends than this have been Dune, Kung Fu Panda 4, Godzilla x Kong, and Planet of the Apes. However, after the abysmal Memorial Day weekend that was just seen, this is seen as a major shot in the arm that Hollywood, and more importantly, the movie theaters needed more than anything else right now. And of course, Variety checking in with Bad Boys 4 rides $56 million in the opening weekend. They're talking about the domestic box office, but of course they can't talk about the $100 million global box office because that would make things look bad for the things that Variety shills for. Because let's take a look at what happened this Memorial Day weekend. Now, Memorial Day weekend, typically a huge movie weekend, okay? You got movies like Gun Maverick coming out as recently as 2022, earning $160.5 million in its Memorial Day weekend release. Now, this year, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, $139. Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, $126. X-Men The Last Stand, $122. Wow, these are 3 really bad movies in numbers 2, 3, and 4. Holy crap. The Little Mermaid from a couple years ago, which, by the way, had a great opening and then bombed. Fast and the Furious 6, Aladdin, X-Men Days of Future Past, The Hangover, Part 2. And where does Mad Max Furiosa, this weekend's huge Memorial Day weekend opening, where does that fit in on this list? Number 37 with $32,343,145. Now that is abysmal numbers here, folks. So what does this tell us? Well, this tells us that people want movies like Bad Boys Ride or Die. What is apparently a movie that is as deep as a Dixie cup, sure, but apparently it is a fun, agenda-free movie in which it's just action and entertainment and some comedy. And, you know, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, people like them as a duo. Now, look, this is Will Smith's first big return to the box office since he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, and we all know that his career has been circling the drain since then. However, this is going to be a major shot in the arm. This proves that Will Smith is still box office, folks. Will Smith is going to start getting a lot more opportunities again. People are going to forget about that Chris Rock slap real quick. But let's take a look at what the people and the critics have to say. 63% on Rotten Tomatoes from the actual critics. Only 3% away from being considered rotten on this platform. 60% means rotten. 97% with over 1,000 verified ratings from the fans. This is what the people want. Movies like this, movies that focus on entertaining them. People do not want to be lectured at, and we have proven it this week. However, I'm sure that, you know, this is not the lesson that Hollywood is going to take away from this. I'm sure they're sitting there scratching their heads wondering why people like Bad Boys but don't like things like The Marvels, which bombed at the box office with $206.1 million, making it one of the lowest grossing MCU movies of all time, with the lowest MCU opening of all time, especially when you consider that Captain Marvel made $1.131 billion in the box office. Now, folks, that's not because Captain Marvel was some great movie. It's because Captain Marvel was teased at the end of Infinity War, was sandwiched between the 2 biggest movies of all time, Infinity War and Endgame, and because of that post-credit scene, people thought that Captain Marvel was in some way, somehow intrinsically connected to these 2 movies. That's why people came out to see it the way they did. But maybe Hollywood will take the wrong message. Maybe they'll be like, you know what people want? They want movies with black men, so we should do agenda-driven movies about black men. But I will point out that the American Society of Magical Negroes, a supposed comedy, and you can't see, but I'm doing finger quotes here. That wasn't funny. That was all just agenda-driven. Grossed $2.5 million in its U.S. theatrical run. Folks, I don't even know how it's
possible that a movie draws that little, especially a movie that was as hyped as this one was. Good Lord. So no, people do not want things that are agenda driven. They just want entertainment. They want entertainment. They will show up for entertainment. They have proven it, despite the movie theater's rising costs, despite the fact that, you know, it involves leaving the house, which we all got accustomed to not doing during the pandemic. You will leave the house. You will spend your money. You will go see movies like Top Gun Maverick, like Bad Boys, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like Spider-Man No Way Home. These are all movies that succeeded because they focused on entertainment over agenda. And even a movie like Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which apparently was very good, nobody went to see it. And I have to wonder why that is. Is it just because the fact that people are so burnt out on the girl boss trope that they're not even giving movies that are actually good a chance? I truly hope not, folks, because there is something to be said about awesome movies with a female lead. You're talking about Alien. You're talking about the first Wonder Woman. You're talking about the Hunger Games. Movies that focused on what? Entertainment. Entertainment over agenda.
I wish I could be there to watch Hollywood producers wring their hands and wonder why something like Bad Boys worked, but projects like The Marvels, the American Society of Magical Negroes, Mad Max Furiosa, and others fail. The reality of the mythical modern audience is staring them in the face, and they're either too blind to see it or they just don't want to admit how wrong they are. Do you think Hollywood is going to learn a lesson from this success? How do you think the shill media and critics will spin this inconvenient reality? Will Hollywood ever change its self-destructive course? Sound off in the comment section below and let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at Tooningtown TV, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Knock it out of here!